What is up, guys? In today's video, I'm going to be talking about the new rocket drill mobility item and if I think it is worth using in season 2. As always, if you guys do find this video to be helpful, informative, interesting, remember to give it a like, subscribe if you like to see more, and comment down below what you think of the rocket drill. Personally, I think it's really good and it's definitely a mobility item worth using. Top 3 mobility item this season, in my opinion. The way this works is, as the name implies, it's a rocket that you can boost around with. If you hit the fire button when this is held, you'll activate the boost. And the way you're looking will affect the trajectory of this item. So a lot of people make the mistake of just looking straight horizontally the direction they want to go, and then they kind of fly just straight and they're low to the ground. But if you look more up, your character will lift off more with the rocket, and you can change how you're looking and change your trajectory while you're in the air. So I would recommend going a bit higher with this. Not like you need to go straight vertical all the time, but if you want to travel further, going higher will definitely help you. And I think a lot of times being very low to the ground will actually make you a bit easier to shoot. It is kind of counterintuitive. You would think being very high up makes you easier, but when playing against this, I've had an easier time tracking and had an easier time beaming people that are lower to the ground. And that would be kind of the first piece of advice with this item, is just like the way you're looking will affect the trajectory of the rocket. And it is very, I think, intuitive, but it's also very like up to you to decide how you want to fly around with it, which is something that I really like, because with the rocket ram we had in the past, there was some kind of wiggle room with how you used it, but a lot of it was kind of predetermined for you. And once you were kind of using it and in that arc, you were just kind of doing what you were doing. And this you can also cancel as you wish, which is also very good. If you stop hitting the boost button, you'll drop to the ground. Or if you'll swap weapons, you'll drop to the ground and you can just stop using it exactly as you wish. It's not like you're stuck in that animation until you hit the ground. So I think that's very good. You can swap weapons, like I said, to cancel it, but you won't actually be able to pull that weapon out and use it until you land. So it's not like you can just fly above somebody, switch to your pump, and then have it out and ready to go the moment you land on them. I think this is very good, because imagine people rocketing onto you and then landing on you with a bat fully charged. Like, that'd be so tilting. So there is a bit of delay that you kind of got to get used to when swapping from this to another weapon, and just kind of keep that in mind. Another huge point of value for this weapon is that after you use it, you won't take fall damage until you land. So if you want to fly up, don't stress it. You can be very loose with how you choose to path with this item, because you're not going to be susceptible to fall damage. I really, really like this for mobility. Like, you can travel around the map really fast. It has a lot of fuel and a very fast recharge time, which is really good for kind of using it several times in the same fight. It's not like you can only use it once in the fight and then it's on cooldown for 15 seconds. You can use it to fly to one building, hit some shots, fly to another building, hit some shots. Like, you can be very mobile and very difficult to track using this item with how much you can use it in a fight, because there isn't actually a cooldown time. And then also, if you're flying, since you're flying with this item, like, any buildings or any mountains that you need to get up aren't nearly as much of a problem as they are with every other mobility item currently in the loot pool. Because with shockwaves, you know, you can get up some high ground, but it really depends on the angle and how high you need to get up. The bat, you're not really getting up high ground. And then same with the Sub-Zero gauntlets. You're not getting up a mountain or on top of a tall building if you need to, or out of like a crevice or a dip in the map. Like, how much you can change your elevation with this item, I think, is really good, and it's very unique to it in the current loot pool. There's nothing else that really allows you to fly around or make drastic changes in your elevation if needed. You are very susceptible to getting beamed using this, though. If you just fly straight at somebody, it likely isn't going to end well for you. And then also, if you're in like a really bad situation and you need to get out of it, this isn't like just a get out of jail free card mobility item, especially if the enemy has good aim. So as far as pushing people goes, I don't want to do it as much with this, but when you compare that to like the bat or the Sub-Zero gauntlets, it's pretty similar. If you are running straight at somebody with the bat and you need to cover like any decent distance, you're very susceptible to just getting AR'd. And then same with the Sub-Zero gauntlets. I would say the shockwaves are still by far the best pushing mobility item, but even then, it's not like you're invincible when shockwaving. All of the mobility items in the current loot pool, you do need to be somewhat cautious when pushing people, and that is kind of a weakness of the rocket drill, but it's not exclusive to the rocket drill. I do really like to combine it with shockwaves, though, because I think shockwaves are the best pushing mobility in the game right now, and they are the best kind of, oh crap, this is a bad situation, I need to get out of here mobility item. So the way I've kind of set my inventory up the past few seasons, I feel like, is having one traveling mobility and one kind of pushing and getting out of bad situations mobility. Shockwaves are still the best at that for me. And so this rocket drill, in my mind, is really only competing with the bat and competing with the Sub-Zero gauntlets for mobility. And I feel like just on mobility alone, it does that very well. And I really enjoy using this item. You can combine it with shockwaves if you need to travel further. Like you could kind of like shockwave, like let's say you're getting beamed and you're in a bad situation. You could shockwave to kind of get distance between you and the enemy and get distance between, you know, where they're shooting and where you are. And then use the rocket drill kind of at the height of your shockwave and fly even higher or even further away. And that is really good mobility. You travel around very quickly, and I feel like you're much harder to hit doing that. I also really like this for chasing people, because if somebody's running from me and I'm shockwaving and then using the drill as well, not only are you traveling decently fast, but you have like a bird's eye view of everything. And I feel like that makes it much easier to track your opponent and know where they're going and not necessarily lose them when you're chasing them. From my experience, it doesn't seem like this rocket drill makes very much noise at all. I was able to catch a lot of players off guard. And I've even had situations where I was like caught off guard by people using this, especially if they were decently high up. I'm not sure if there's just no visual audio, or it's not as, the range on the visual audio isn't as large as like the rocket ram was. But like I said, I was catching a lot of people off with this, and I even was getting surprised from it as well. As I said earlier, you don't take fall damage if you use this, which makes it a very good counter to the bat. One thing that a lot of players have been struggling with this season is just getting batted off a mountain or batted off a roof or batted off whatever, and then taking a bunch of fall damage. And with this rocket, you don't take fall damage. I like this a lot more than the Sub-Zero gauntlets. Like the Sub-Zero gauntlets you could also use to avoid fall, but I didn't like the Sub-Zero gauntlets as much for being a mobility item as I do this rocket drill. So like the rocket drill is better mobility in my opinion, and it also counters fall. So it definitely beats out the Sub-Zero gauntlets. But another thing that's nice about it is like if you got batted off a mountain and then you tried to dodge the fall with the gauntlets, you just go to the ground. Like you just go straight down basically. But with the rocket, you can fly around and reposition and go where you want to go. So instead of ending up batted off the mountain and not taking fall, you don't even end up down in that bad situation anyway. So I think the rocket drill, better mobility, but it's also better at avoiding fall damage because you can go where you want and not just negate the fall damage. You negate the fall damage and go where you want, which I think makes playing the fight a lot easier in the long run. And you can kind of get batted off of something and then AR'd when you're flying around. It's not like you just have to ignore bat users. Like the bat user can still get a decent advantage in that situation by batting you off of something and forcing you to rocket, but it's definitely better than dying to fall damage. You know, it's like, if that's going to happen to you, would you rather die to fall or have a chance to outplay it? And I feel like the rocket gives you a chance to outplay it while also being a very, very good mobility item. The kind of minor benefit of the rocket drill as well is that you can use it on the vault doors. The little red bars that you have to destroy on the vault door get damaged very easily by the L2 aspect of the drill. I think it'd be right click on mouse and keyboard, whatever your aim down sight button is. If you hit that with the drill, you do like a kind of, not necessarily melee attack, but you destroy things with it, and it does really well versus the vault doors, and it does really well versus structures as well. It's really good at farming and build mode, but using this to get into the vaults is nice. Even if you don't want to carry it long term in the game, having it when you go for the vaults I think is decently high value, because you'll break it very easily, not have to worry about using your gun or anything like that. Overall though, I think the rocket drill is a very, very good mobility item, and I think going forward in this season, I'll either be carrying shockwaves in the drill or shockwaves in the bat. It really just depends. I think the drill is decently comparable to the bat as far as mobility goes. I enjoy using them both. Right now I'm enjoying the drill more, but that could just be because it's a new item. The fact that it negates fall is really good, and I like it for chasing people. So overall, I think this was a very good addition to the game. I still want to have shockwaves in my inventory because, as I said, I like them a lot more for pushing and for getting out of bad situations, but I think the rocket drill is really fun to have, really good mobility, and the fact that it's comparable to the bat at all, I think just goes to show that I think it's a very good item. Oh, another thing that I really like about it is it doesn't use your stamina, whereas like traveling around with the bat, It's fun. I like the bat kind of jump into a pump, but the fact that it uses your stamina can kind of be unfortunate in certain situations. The fact that the drill is mobility that doesn't use your stamina at all is pretty nice for conserving your stamina throughout the course of the game. But that is going to be it for this video. Let me know what you guys think of the rocket drill down in the comments below. If you enjoyed this, give it a like, subscribe if you'd like to see more, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.